Welcome, folks, to the Healthy Habit Podcast, episode number 252. I'm your host, Dr. Dejan Matijevic here of Healthy Habit Medical Center, located nice and convenient right inside Healthy Habit Health Foods. Today we're talking with the legend himself, who I just recently had the pleasure of receiving a training from, all things host defense mushrooms, with our staff here at Healthy Habit. Always informative, great educator here, Mr. Richard Cividanes here, National Science Educator at Host Defense Mushrooms, who has over 25 years involvement with the natural products industry. His experience includes working as a staff member in health food stores and natural food co-ops in New York and Washington State. Richard's part of the family who founded Topical BioMedics and developed the award-winning homeopathic topical brand Topricin. Many of you who are OGs in the health space might be familiar with Topricin. He was their brand manager and educator for 15 years, where he regularly traveled the country educating thousands of retail staff and medical professionals on the benefits of homeopathy. He's excited to share his love and admiration, folks, of the fungal kingdom here today, with its unique abilities to support the health of mind, body, spirit, and planet during this 26-minute episode. Welcome back, Richard.
Thank you, Doctor. It's so good to be with you again. Thanks.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure. And one of the last times we had Richard on was episode 235, which aired in November 14th. So you guys want to check that one out for sure. Mushrooms for fighting seasonal allergies and inflammation with Richard Cividanes. You don't want to miss that episode. Richard, today I want to highlight, this is airing here at the beginning of 2026, potentially into 2025, but we're in the winter months here for sure at the time of viewing this episode. So we want to cover, we're going to hit on a couple products that are important here that we have here at Healthy Habit Health Foods, but I want to hear your thoughts on just trends, the biggest shift you've seen in the medicinal mushroom world between 2024 and now, and here in early 2026 in the winter months. What's been new on the radar? How have you seen this evolve? You know, a lot more people are learning about medicinal mushrooms.
Yeah, that is absolutely the truth. The as we like to joke around, the shroom boom is really happening.
Yeah,
There are just more and more people across all demographics who are getting interested in utilizing mushrooms to support health and wellness. And we're seeing that increase in sales across both the supplement side of the aisles as well as in grocery, where more and more prepared foods have got mushroom ingredients in them. And as that is evolving, obviously there's more and more companies coming into the industry that are focusing specifically on mushrooms and fungal organisms. We've got almost, every player in the industry now is including mushroom ingredients in their supplements, or they're creating mushroom lines. And that's all really exciting to us. I happen to work with the Host Defense, and that's the company that's owned and operated by the mycologist Paul Stamets. Some say that we're the OG organic mushroom company here in the United States.
right.
Paul's been doing this since 1980 and creating and developing products across many of those decades. That products that include mushrooms to help support health and wellness. So we're really excited about these trends that are happening, and at the same time, it's also giving us a moment of pause and reflection and communication, because one of the things that we're seeing is a huge amount of new mushroom companies coming into the fold, and we're wondering where the quality of ingredients is landing.
Right.
It's really important, in our opinion, to make sure that businesses that are doing manufacturing and creating supplements with mushroom ingredients are doing their due diligence in regards to third-party lab testing for safety, doing tests to assure that levels of heavy metals, industrial waste compounds, pesticides, herbicides, microbiological contamination are happening, so that we are creating, as an industry, clean and safe products to be used. The fungal organisms can be bioaccumulators. When they're growing in environments and ecosystems that have the potential for contamination, these organisms have a very easy way of absorbing and accumulating those toxins. So safety testing is really, really vital. It's important that we're making sure that the people who are using supplements are getting, sources of ingredients and products that are coming from clean places. And that's something that's at the forefront of our business and has been for many, many years. We do regular safety testing throughout our growing and manufacturing processes to assure that the end product that a person's going to use is as clean as it possibly can be. And, as a business, we follow a really strict standard. We follow the California Prop 65 standard, which is the
Probably the most
strictest
strict. Yeah.
it's the strictest standard. It really is when it comes to allowable levels of things like heavy metals and pesticides and those types of compounds into the product. So we're really doing our due diligence. And that for me is really the biggest piece moving forward, is to assure that as this industry continues to grow, that all of us who are involved in it are doing the best that we can to assure that the products that we are generating and creating are of the highest quality they possibly can be.
That's a fantastic answer, my friend. That's incredible. Yeah, it's you'd be surprised, folks, how many products don't pass the Prop 65 California standard there. Like I remember I was shopping for like a steering wheel cover because it's so hot here in the summer, and like a bunch of those were failing the Prop 65 California warning. So yeah, that's so basically to summarize that, with all the growing demand in functional mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, you want to be at Host Defense, you want to be meeting that need, but in the most safe possible way, the highest quality products, making sure that they're getting the best quality mushrooms possible, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's vital. I mean, people are choosing to use these supplements to support their health and their wellness and their immune systems. So, we really feel that it is our obligation as the creator of these products to do the best that we possibly can to not only be able to be growing our material in a sustainable way, but also assuring that the end user, again, is not going to be consuming and absorbing
Right.
any kind of contaminants along with the product. It's a really, really important aspect to consider when you're out there in the stores making your choices.
100%. And I know you love the research and diving deep into the clinical applications of these things. So, anything that's exciting you the most here for 2026 and beyond? Any new research trends you've observed or clinical applications? And then we'll dive into some more specific mushrooms that people can actually start applying in their life.
Sure. Well, there it is exciting, and I'm going to speak about our own products here for a moment because
Sure.
some of the most recent research that was done on two of our mushrooms, agarikon and turkey tail in combination. It was a human clinical studies. The findings that occurred from that study were profoundly important. Paul Stamets, again, he's the owner and operator of Fungi Perfecti and Host Defense Mushrooms. He's the mycologist who's leading our charge in the business. He was asked in September to go speak at the United Nations, and he talked for about 15 minutes on that human clinical research that was done on agarikon and turkey tail. Amazing results were seen. So much so that he felt that he should be sharing that information in front of the United Nations
Yeah.
audience. You can see that on YouTube if you search Paul Stamets
Wow.
and UN. You'll find that talk. But that human clinical research on those two incredibly immune supporting organisms, the agarikon and the turkey tail, I'm very, very hopeful that that's going to instigate ongoing and more consistent research now in regards to immunological health in human clinical studies. So we're studying these mycelial based products in human bodies after they've gone through a human digestive system, and then being able to see the outcomes that are occurring. So for me, that's some of the most exciting stuff that's happening in our background right now, that I really do hope to see move forward with more continued research to
Incredible.
continue to elucidate some of the findings that were seen in that most recent study.
Right. It's important if he's choosing that topic specifically to present in front of the UN, right? And that was a Garicon mushroom and turkey tail mushroom for those
Yep.
taking notes, those two specifics. And then you could just head over to YouTube and type in maybe Paul Stamets UN, like United Nations lecture or speech, and I'm sure you'll find it on there. Thank you
Yes,
for sharing that, my friend.
of
Incredible,
course.
exciting stuff. There's always new research coming out in the mushroom kingdom. And I remember
always.
in the training that we had the other day with you and our staff here, you were mentioning mushrooms and plants really aren't anything alike. Like we're more similar to mushrooms, if anything, and than plants are to mushrooms. Can you clarify that a little bit more? That's super important. People don't understand that. They just group mushrooms and plants in their head together, right? That's a very important thing.
Yes, and it's an easy way. It's easy to understand why people would think that. I mean, it was even thought that back in, in
Right.
the past, mushrooms are part of botany. But now we have come to completely understand that the kingdom of fungi, it really is nothing like the kingdom of plants. Even though there are absolutely many, many deep symbiotic relationships between fungal organisms and plants, at the genetic level, they are nothing like one another. And as I was mentioning to your teams, the what we understand now is that the kingdom of fungi and the kingdom of animals are much more closely related
Right.
genetically. We share more than half of our human genome with the mushroom kingdom, which is really unique
It's
when
mind
you
blowing.
think about that aspect. And there's so many similarities too, just on the biological, front. The way that we respirate is the same. Fungal organisms inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, just like animals do. They digest their food sources using digestive enzymes, just like animals do, though they do it a little bit differently in their experience, where we're digesting internally. Fungal organisms digest externally and then absorb and assimilate nutrients through their cell walls, but a lot of similarity in that aspect. But mycelium, when it's out there in the world, it's helping to form these vast underground networks that are connecting plants and trees and entire ecosystems, right? And one of their main roles is to break down organic matter and turn it and cycle it back into nutrients that are able to feed life again, a vitally important aspect. And through these very hidden mycelial networks, mushroom mycelium is helping to hold our soils together, maintain moisture in soils. It supports the roots of plants and ties and connects plant ecosystems together and helps to ensure that life above the ground is able to flourish, right? So the
Right.
mycelium is really this living foundation of our forests and our fields. And just as it supports the health of ecosystems, mycelium also helps to protect them. This is one of the beautiful things we're learning about this out in the research. When threats arise, when there's toxins or competing microbes or environmental changes in an ecosystem,
Right.
mushroom mycelium responds, and it does that with chemistry, right? It creates enzymes that are able to dismantle obstacles. It creates acids that are able to reshape the soil. It's producing immune compounds that defend against disease. And this adaptive intelligence that these organisms have has evolved in a way into nature's immune system, right? When they sense imbalance, mycelium helps to restore harmony wherever it's growing. And today, after 50 plus years of research in this field,
Right.
some of the discoveries are that these same compounds that mushroom mycelium produces to protect ecosystems have also been found to support the human immune system, right? So from polysaccharides to an array of other molecules across a whole bunch of compound classes, these fungal metabolites reveal a really beautifully profound biological kinship, right? The chemistry that helps to keep ecosystems resilient are also seen to help keep us well
Yeah.
also. So mycelium is more than this fabric of the forest floor. It's this beautiful organism, this bridge between the health of the planet as well as the health of the people who are living on the planet, right? And that to me is it's a very poetic reminder that the vitality of nature and our own vitality are deeply and inseparably intertwined with one another.
Incredible, man. I'm sure Paul Stamets loves having you part of the national education team, my friend. How did he find you? How did he find you? I'm serious.
My brother has been one of Paul's employees for a very,
Got
very
it.
long time. His name is Steven, and he was one of Paul's, sixth or eighth employee. He has been at
Got
Fungi
it.
Perfecti for decades.
Oh, okay.
And so I've had this interpersonal family relationship. Many, many, many years ago, Paul and the team at Fungi Perfecti were helping Topricin by creating agarikon extracts that we were potentizing into homeopathic remedies. And so we've been in each other's orbits for quite some
Right.
time. And I was honored when I was, and when I had the opportunity to come in and help to support the processes that are happening at Host Defense. I absolutely jumped at that opportunity.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you, Richard. So, me as a clinician here working with patients, I always like understanding clinical applications as well. And then we'll dive into the MycoBotanicals immune powder here in a moment. Super important product at this time of year. But I mean, training other physicians over the years, how have you seen doctors applying host defense products in their clinical practice, and what types of cases? We're not giving any medical advice here, but just stuff you might have observed other clinicians using mushrooms. What types of cases do they tend to apply them in? Just like an overarching maybe couple that you can highlight.
Sure. Some of the biggest areas and arenas, if you will, I believe first and foremost is immune system support and the support of immune system
You
cell
got it.
functioning, most certainly. So we are seeing, more and more doctors, definitely the integrative medical docs, who are turning towards mushrooms as an approach to support people's immune systems when they really need them working more efficiently, but also in a balanced manner, because it's one of the really unique aspects of these fungal organisms. The beneficial mushrooms as a category, when we look at the number of dozen that have been researched, for their benefit to the human body, what we see is very consistently this very balanced support of immune system functioning. So not only are they helping to engage immune cells, but they also play a role in helping the immune system modulate and keep its activity from going into overdrive, if you will, and helping maintain balance across the different stages of the immune response. So your immune system can respond and work strongly when it needs to, but also have this ability to resolve that activity, which is absolutely vital. We really want that immune system to be nimble, to work when it needs to, and then to resolve that activity so that it's not unnecessarily creating some of the compounds and molecules that we know help to instigate an inflammatory response in the body's tissues via the immune system. So this idea of balance in the immune system is vital. Another place I think we see a lot of support is in cognitive functioning,
Mm,
and so that kind of plays a role in like cognitive functioning, memory, mood, the types of impacts that a healthy neurological system can impart upon us. And we see a lot of medical professionals supporting their patients with some of the mushroom species that have this profound impact upon the brain and neurological system. So that would be mushrooms like
interesting.
lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps. Those are some key mushroom species that have a great ability, from what the research is showing, to support neurological functioning. So I think the immune system functioning, neurological systems, those are two of the places where we see many medical professionals turning to fungal organisms to help support their clients and their patients.
Thank you, my friend. That's a great answer and something to consider that might help other practitioners that tune into this program. Always work with your doctor. We're never giving any medical advice here.
Yes.
Richard just kind of presenting what he's observed and what the research shows. So thank you for highlighting that. Folks, we're going to dive into the MycoBotanicals immune powder here, which we carry at Healthy Habit Health Foods. We have an entire host defense section. And this is an important product that contains agarikon mushroom, chaga, turkey tail, which were the two that you actually highlighted earlier, the agarikon and the turkey tail.
Yes.
Reishi, maitake, the ones that Paul Stamets presented with the UN that Richard was just explaining you can find on YouTube, as well as botanicals in there like acerola cherry, high vitamin C source, astragalus, schizandra berry, and goji for immune support. Recommended as adults take one rounded teaspoon a day. Of course, not formal advice, but that's just the suggested serving size. Why did you choose to highlight this one as a good overarching immune system support formula?
It's a great time of the year to start considering that idea of helping to support, and help boost immune immune system activity.
Right.
And that's what that formula can do. So those five mushrooms in combination, your agarikon, turkey tail, maitake, they are very well known at strongly supporting immune cell engagement. So allowing immune system cells to function more efficiently. Agarikon, reishi, chaga, those mushrooms also play a really big role in that immune modulation, helping to support the immune system moving through the stages and being able to maintain balance there. All five of those mushroom species also will provide prebiotic substance into the digestive system when you're consuming it that the probiotic bacterial organisms can utilize as a food source. And, our microbiome is really what we consider to be the primary immune system. It's our microbiome and our barrier tissues that are
Right.
really the first line of defense. So when we're able to bolster and support diversity in the gut, that plays a role in helping to support the immune system. And all five of those mushroom species, along with that immune system support, are also prebiotic support for the microbiome. And then when we look at that group and that range of different botanicals, astragalus root is very well known also. It's supporting immune modulation. It's also a wonderful herb to consider for supporting upper respiratory wellness. That acerola cherry, like you mentioned, it provides you with 75 milligrams of food-sourced vitamin C, a really important vitamin and antioxidant, and that's per teaspoon of the powder. And then the berries, the goji berry, schizandra berry, those are also playing deep roles in their prebiotic activity. They're also providing antioxidant support through some of their antioxidant compounds. And we know how, oxidative stress actually can instigate an immune system response. So
Right.
supporting, oxidative stress by the use of natural antioxidants can also be a helpful role in helping to maintain balance within that immune system functioning. The Schizandra berry as well. So it is classified as an adaptogenic herb or substance. So it plays a role across many different body systems at the same time when you consume it. And so we've got a lot of support here happening for the immune system, but we also have that Schizandra berry supporting other really important organs like the liver. And that is another aspect of helping with detoxification that can play a role again in just supporting overall body balance and
Right.
wellness. It has a very interesting, like smoky like flavor, and
Tart.
that is
Yeah, a
because of the
little tart.
Schizandra berry. The Chinese name for Schizandra berry translates to the fruit of five flavors because it
Interesting.
strongly has every one of the flavors imparted at the same time. So it has a really subtle smoky flavor that I've had a number of people tell me that they're really enjoying it mixed in fresh squeezed orange juice
Hmm.
because the orange juice and that smoky flavor make for a really tasty glass of beverage.
Interesting. Yeah, I was about to ask that. How do you suggest mixing it if someone's not used to that smoky tart taste or flavor? So thank you for highlighting that. And again, folks, this
Absolutely.
is a powder. One rounded teaspoon gives you this breakdown that you're seeing here on the screen share. There is vitamin C in there as well, as ascorbic acid, 75 milligrams per teaspoon. And I know a little bit of how you might answer this, but I want you to educate the listeners of why you prefer powders as a delivery medium for these nutrients, as opposed to like several different capsule options.
Sure. Well, to be able to get that amount of material into capsules, a person would have to be taking as one serving a number of capsules. So the
Right.
powder it really is an easier delivery system. And we really like the powders too because it gives you the opportunity for varying your serving size easily when you want to have a little bit more support, as opposed to having to eat and take more capsules.
Yeah.
And like this one, this is probably one of our strongest flavored powders because of some of those botanical herbs that are in there. I'm a person who just goes very simple. I blend mine in the water, even the immune powder, which I just have been using over these last number of weeks pretty consistently. I enjoy the flavor of it. It's not anything that's like it's a turnoff for me personally. But
Right.
if you want to, I would say blend it into a fruit juice. You can even blend it and mix it into foods, and that will more, kind of hide the flavor, if you will, right along with the food that you're consuming also.
Strong research to support this formula. You guys can break down each individual ingredient here. Agarikon and turkey tail, like we said. Paul Stamets wouldn't choose to present these two to the United Nations if there wasn't a massive amount of research to support at least these two. But then, of course, there's chaga, reishi, maitake in here, well known for supporting an engaged yet balanced immune response with maitake. I know maitake's been used in diabetes research as well. And blood sugar management, pre-diabetes. So insulin sensitivity, all these types of things. And then, of course, the four herbs in here, Acerola, cherry, astragalus, schizandra, and goji. I wish we had more time here, Richard, but this was an
Always.
incredible episode here at episode 252. And we talked about trends in the medicinal mushroom world between 2024 and now, emerging research, clinical applications that are exciting Richard the most here for the new year and beyond. Differentiated even the fungi and plant kingdoms here. He even mentioned how clinicians have applied host defense mushrooms and mushrooms in general in their clinical practice. And then, of course, this MycoBotanicals immune powder. So, what would you leave us with here today, Richard, as a good take home and where people can learn more?
No, thank you so much. Yeah, so if people do want to learn more about the brand, they can go to hostdefense.com, real easy. And on that website, you're going to get a lot of educational information. There's blogs that have been written by Paul and some of our research team and us on the education team on a whole variety of topics related to mushrooms and mushroom mycelium. And that's a great first easy resource for people to start diving in. Always, again, like Paul Stamets's YouTube channel is a great way to connect with Paul and the talks and lectures that he's hosting and giving around the country. And those would be two really easily accessible resources to provide you with a wealth of information that can easily take you down the rabbit hole of why you may want to consider utilizing mushrooms in your diet as well as in your supplementation
Right.
to support health and wellness.
The first one was fungiperfecti.com, did you say, or fungi.com?
Yep. Either fungi.com or
Host defense.
hostdefense.com. Yep. Either of those will bring you to the same domain, to the same website.